Now, southern Ukraine has been hit by strikes from both sides in the war, with Russia launching drones at Odessa and Ukraine fighting back in Melitopol. Well, Ukraine says the Russian drone attacks have left 1.5 million people without power in that southern region of Odessa. The military said that 10 Iranian-made drones were shot down, although 5 did hit critical infrastructure. President Zelensky warned it could take weeks to restore electricity supplies. The British Foreign Secretary, meanwhile, James Cleverly, has told the BBC it was important that the Russian leader had to be seen to be unsuccessful in his aggression and that he had to be held accountable for his actions. Well, joining me now is Maria Mezhentseva, who's a Ukrainian MP from Zelensky's party from the Kharkiv region, and she is deputy chairperson of the Committee on Ukraine's integration into the European Union. Thank you very much for joining us. Just drawing on 1.5 million now without electricity in the latest strikes. James Cleverly, the Foreign Secretary, did speak about the need for talks sooner rather than later, and that seems to be the goal. How realistic is that, do you think?
We're looking at this regime as a terrorist one, and that's enshrined in numerous resolutions in different parliaments across Europe and beyond. We are not talking to a terrorist regime. We see that the aim, which is unknown for no one, why these strikes are occurring, well, specifically on energy infrastructure, they would be thinking we can't regain the powers, even though we can. It is proven in many regions. We're very sorry about what's happening in Odessa, but we have to go on and live or relive this cold and hard winter.
Sorry to interrupt you, but how do you get then to talks sooner rather than later?
This is not the aim of this process. The aim is to have a victory first, and then we can be in a dialogue, probably with someone else, rather than Putin and his regime.
Does it worry you then when you hear some of your allies talking like that?
That's fine. We can reassure our partners that, you know, we are using the weapons that are being sent for defensive operations and for liberating our territories, humanitarian aid as well. Sanctions are working. We are thankful to UK government for the recent sanctions being imposed on Monday, and that all is a huge machine which is done simultaneously as well as a part of the justice, because you've called it very rightly, this is an aggression on critical infrastructure, but also an aggression on many other security issues.
That's an important word for you. I mean, exactly. I know you've been on a bit of a world tour, really, lobbying support for a special tribunal on Russian aggression as to who actually started this conflict and why.
Absolutely.
What chance do you think you have, A, of establishing what would be a new tribunal, and B, then, how do you ever prove that this was aggression with no justification?
After lobbying for it for 9 months, having very good results in the Council of Europe Parliamentary Assembly, NATO Parliamentary Assembly, OEC, UN General Assembly said in March that this is what has occurred. 193 countries representation is an act of aggression. We hear now that ICC, International Criminal Court, could have a mandate for that, but Russia is not a part to the Rome Statute, nor are we. And that's how we we solve this riddle of the century in legal terms by setting up a special ad hoc tribunal that would target Putin and possibly Security Council of Russian Federation.
Right. We wait to see where that will go. In the meantime, and fairly briefly, you know that the pressures on Western governments are growing. We're into a deep winter as well. A lot of problems with cost of living, of energy, etc. Time is tight now, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's why justice cannot be a protected answer to what has happened on the February 24th in 2014, and actually in other countries, which Russia conducted this numerous war crimes against humanity. But the mother crime of all, the crime of aggression, has to be addressed. I'm sure we will live over this hard winter and we come stronger out of it.
Okay, Maria Mezhentseva, thank you very much for joining me here in the studio. Of course, we have more on the issues in Ukraine, as you well know, on the website bbc.com/news. Thanks for watching.